I bet we can. I bet we can.
Maybe. Would reinforce the leg seams, make sure that he's nice and comfortable out on the stage. But we'll see, John. We'll come back to that one at another time. RRQ on the move as well there. Obviously, a roster, it felt like at times they had some good sort of approach to a few of the fights we saw. Maybe a little bit more paralysis by analysis in a few of the situations, though, right? We want to be slightly more cutthroat. I suppose that is the name of the game for all the squads we've got in survival stage, but I think that resonates with them as well.
Yeah, for RRQ, I mean, they do have a standout performance in terms of Lepar, definitely on point when it comes to getting in those clutch situations, making it work, and to an extent, he's the reason why RRQ were able to get in towards these survival stages. But they do need to be more cohesive, more together and fluid in those fights. Hopefully, they can play off one another a little bit better here. Looks like, oh, we might see an Elim that may well stick, as Geeke do have one of their players taken down, and Geeke are all around Alpha 7 and E-Arena, so it could be a little bit difficult to get to one of those recall towers, even though they are still fairly available. I mean, you've got Ryan that is completely unoccupied. You've got Kunxia up on that northeast side as well. So there are accessible positions, but those will start to get more closed in as teams move in. I mean, we've got Yangon Galacticos, who are on board with right now, moving past Meiran, with Goat Team on their west and Alula are quite far to their south. Ahead of them, though, it's the Wolves, who have managed to get up to Heme Town, up on that northeast side, fairly swiftly and without too much trouble.
Some replays here of the early fights. Obviously, Yangon getting a far better start. 3 Elims there. Nice to see for the squad. Again, so much more pressure on your shoulders, right? It's all the added pedantry as well, having to come out bringing the trophy twice now. It feels like all the other squads you're playing against, all eyes on you. If you can't do your organization justice and for yourself as well, those memories of last year probably flashing before your eyes, John, when you're back at the hotel. You know they need to show up here in survival.
Next circle goes quite far west here. I mean, this is a good opportunity for Arena to get into a solid spot. They're already on the north side of this river. The crossings, that I said, can be a little bit more treacherous than on a lot of other maps when you have similar divides over water. So hopefully they can start to establish. Do they keep this 2-2 or do they regroup over towards a more central, more centralized and coherent position? I feel like they still have a little bit of time to do that. So they may want to try and stay out in the open for a little bit, but within the next minute or so, they will need to regroup. Yangon Galacticos able to find a player from Kiwon DRX, and yeah, very nice pickup there. 4 Elims now for Yangon, although they did lose Say Cloud in the process, so a 1-for-1 trade. And as I said before, the recall towers are still open, but from this point on, it's going to get harder and harder to access them, Jackie, because the blue zone will start to cut off quite a lot of them, the rotates won't be there, and teams will be on top of them already.
Yeah, you lose that availability. Makes it far harder to weigh up the decision-making if it's worth attempting to go for it. So we'll see if that plays too much of a vital role for these squads as this one develops. Obviously, KRX had a bit of an unfortunate start off the drop as well. Went down to the 1 solo that was offset for the recall. That worked out to get them back up, but only 1 Elim point to their name at this point. They are able to safely get Say Cloud back into the action, though, on their wrap. So they're going to be all right with that. Is he going to be caught by the Wolves, though? Dropping back in right now. They're both going to have to advance, obviously, outside of blue. Not going to be doing too much damage right now, John. So maybe they can avoid each other.
I don't think that Wolves would commit to go for the player on the parachute. They should know that there is a team to their south. Sure, that would be an indicator that someone has just recalled there. But given that it was only 1 player dropping down, you're fairly certain that it's a full 3 squad already on the ground. Committing to that fight for Wolves in their position right now, I think is a little bit too much of a risk. And they weren't really in position to get the player on the way down already. But Yangon Galacticos have other ideas. They have just crossed swords and taken a knock over to the Wolves.
Yeah, I guess it goes both ways. Wolves didn't want to engage, but Yangon said, you know what, if you're here, we might as well try and get some points. Put some warning shots their way. Don't necessarily need to commit onto the fight. Just get a couple and get out. Or, hey, maybe actually just scrap the whole squad. Romeo's back in for more.
Yeah, they were able to find that flush, and they're immediately across the bridges around Muhopan on that north side, and potentially looking to guard the Wolves out here and stop them from getting to a recall tower closer to the zone. It will start to hurt a little bit too much for the Wolves' liking if they don't get through quickly, and the northern pair for Yangon Galacticos is going to send out and maybe look to control that recall tower on the north side.
This is nice, actually, with how they've been playing it. Cloud was able to safely get himself a vehicle as well, join the rest of the squad. You can see where they're repositioning to right now. Like you say, be in a good position to swarm effectively all angles towards that recall. If Wolves come up to it, they could catch them.
Okay, the circle's on the north side as well, so pretty important to get a position up on that north edge. As I said before, Arena now in a very commanding position, and maybe Rondo's their map, who knows. They haven't managed to get a huge number of elims early on, but then again, they didn't when they were in their stadium chicken dinner either. They have already got 4 as well, which, as I said, not huge, but still pretty significant. Ryan, having that recall tower in and available for the next about 4 minutes or so is also going to be quite important for the teams on the north side, as Yangon Galacticos trying to corral the Wolves against them. But the north side is going to get more and more packed, so Yangon Galacticos taking a bit of a risk here to try and make that fight work, to try and hold this one out. They are losing time, losing tempo to get towards the zone.
Yeah, investing a lot into this now. At a certain point, it becomes a matter of cutting your losses. In the downtime amongst that conversation as well, we saw Alpha 7 actually go down to a duo. Thankfully, they've got one of their players back up. The other not so lucky yet. That was this encounter versus Nonshin Red Force. A side that's surprisingly powerful when they're feeling confident. Ravo out of the running already, John. Shot at the back of the vehicle on the exit. Not ideal.
No, and it's very difficult now to get to a recall tower. There is one to their northwest. They might try and break for it, but Nongshim, I think, have read into that and have moved 2 of their players out towards it as well. For Alpha 7, it feels like a 3-play on. And I don't think they're going to be able to go for it. Ulf have got 2 of their players right behind this ridgeline as well. The backstop 2 for Ulf, Ketch and Kelsey, have yet to cross by Stadium, but it seems like with Nongshim Red Force on the move, they can just get gone. Wolves do manage to move all the way over on the north side of Yangon Galacticos. And Goat Team are now going to bear the brunt of the aggression from the defending champions.
Yeah, didn't expect this one. Goat, they were quite far back towards KRX's position, but they've wrapped up towards the northern side, got stuck into Yangon. Already been able to knock out 1 player from the squad, leaving them with a triple threat. Yangon actually doing pretty good work here, right? Coming out tied in first place between 3 other squads, and Tiamba and Goat, the squad they're head-to-head with here in the fight. So cleaning up on this one would be huge for them.
Ooh, looking to do a little bit more damage, but they'll be content with the first knock, and they do have their backs to the blue, so need to be careful. The zone is going to hurt pretty significantly here, especially as stage 4 starts to come on through. It's going to be unresable, so you have to get on the road. Al-Ula taking shots from an off angle. They're a team that hasn't crossed the river yet, hasn't made their way through, but is going to try and put pressure on the back lines. For Yangon, they're going to have to play on as 3 now with that knock coming through. I was looking at where Tiamba as well were playing, given, as you said, they were in that top 3. They are in a really sticky spot on the south side for Tiamba. I think their fight through is going to be maybe the hardest at the moment in the lobby. We'll have to wait and see if they're able to make it work as Yangon Galacticos get out of there, get into the next zone, and they wait for this next circle.
Yeah, Go bailed on the fight. You can see them pulling back down towards the south side. Dopeness caught line of sight from the ridge as well onto Yangon, and it's Alula that are coming up around the back. That's the shift on the zone, though, pulling away, going back down south. Oof. All right, mate. Fair bit of water as well, cutting off a lot of the play space you've actually got the longer this one goes, John.
Yeah, I was looking at Tiamba, as I said before, and I feel like this is seemingly what I kind of thinking they should be doing here. Moving over to the south coast, maybe able to swim across later on, but a lot of teams that have already committed to the north side are going to be fighting for the hills around that E-Arena Ulf position where Goat have just moved on into. This is going to be the focus for so many teams. So I feel like Tiamba, they're looking to play for a 3rd place, but they have taken a knock on the back there. And this rotation is under threat, under danger. Eren is waiting for someone else to step forward to say, I've got the shot, before they go for that spray. But Tiamba, if they could find cover on that south coastline, I feel like they might have a chance of getting fairly deep into this one.
A lot of movement as well. Yangon trying to advance quite quickly. It was AGAL that had angles onto him. Unfortunately for Eagle, going down to the zone has resulted in his demise, so he's cut out of the lobby. Maple also hit from the sideline. Dopeness very far back, but with good line of sight onto them. So they're just peppering to make it uncomfortable for these squads. Goat might be tested by the wraparound from Alula as well, John. This is heating up now.
Yeah, a lot of teams crunching in. AGAL on the north side will have to face off against Dopeness, as you said. Yangon just beyond them, and they are now within nade range. So we get a little replay from... Oh, he's knocked himself with a deployable cover flare there. That is not good news for the Wolves. That's going to slow them down a little bit on the replay. I missed that one, but there we go. Sometimes it happens. It is a danger. And he's going to get run down as well.
Oh,
the front
perfect,
bumper to take him out. The Wolves are going to chime back in, though, with look at the damage pouring in on the Elim feed there. Goodness me, the Wolves want vengeance.
Yeah, this is getting messy, John. You had this back and forth game of nade badminton going on. I thought they were able to thread it through the window, but it's a near miss. The Flower H stays alive, and that's at the detriment of Yangon.
View, nade over the top, trying to get the distance, but not quite there. And this is the difficulty. They can't really take fights on two fronts, and Lufa able to expose one angle against AGAL. And now he moves forwards with a shotgun in hand. XZZ wants to find an answer, doesn't get the full knock, has the shotgun, but he's on a sliver of HP now, and another nade might just be all is needed. The healing desperately important for them. Across the road is Romeo now on his last legs, and AGAL are suffering.
Dopeness have pushed up hard from the backside as well and got into a good position to command respect on what they've realized is now two very weak squads. So if they can steal away points, it'll be magnificent for them. Smile falls for Yangon as well, leaving them with only one solo player left alive in a horrific position to attempt to defend. Fury are going out, joining 721 GS. So two squads now gone.
They are out of there already. We're down to 14. Those recall towers shut off, meaning no players can jump back into the fight. More deployable cover. Don't look, Wolves, don't look. It's fine, it's not on top of you. You'll be okay. They managed to get all the way out to the west side there. They had a tricky approach, and they're showing the scars of it as well, playing now on as two players alive. This east side will be chill for about the next 30 seconds, maybe, once RRQ settle themselves down and lose their player on the east edge. But with this circle, it's going to have to get trickier again. This has been so nasty for the teams out in the east to be able to make their way through. They have been on the brunt of these circle shifts.
Non-ship getting a bit of a look down towards the road. Meanwhile, amongst all this, we've seen another play coming out from Goat. Killer Joe loves these early scraps. We've seen him be a bit of an explosive entry for the team. If he can open up a potential play onto his squad, he'll go for it every time. 4 elims just tied to him. They did lose out on Foops, man. There's a nice back and forth between Foops and Killer Joe and how they play off each other, but you've still got a ton of talent left alive on this roster. If you know anything about Go John as well, they're going to be gunning for a big victory here. If they can start it off with a nice bit of energy, feed the hot hand, they play with that throughout the whole day.
I mean, it would be a great start for them. A team that was in the contest to jump up in a top 5, a direct qualification spot. They want to prove to everyone at home, to their fans, to themselves maybe even as well, that they do deserve one of those spots, and here's the place to do it. Another knock over the top from a nade from Goat, doing damage. Suffering across a lot of different teams right now with nades flying back and forth. A close proximity engagement is not favorable. Arena were under pressure from Dopeness, but they handled it. Seems like they're doing okay. Mormon does get flushed away though, and hang on a minute, Arena may not be able to handle the pressure because Goat and AGAL looking to rock up all at the same time. 4 teams now on spot, and Dopeness up on high, taking shots, laying down the lead.
Oh mate, sweating bullets on the push in. Panic stations, and they just can't compose themselves to slay the Goat. Thankfully, Kenji with the sacrificial nade bounces it out the window and hits that one on top of Moxie to leave them down with only a duo in position to attempt to fight here. Awkward collection of players all amongst each other.
Tourniquet, nade, cooking. Doesn't quite know where these players are, and I don't blame him. The amount of chaos that just happened. 2 teams descending immediately just after another one crashed on through. On the southwest side, in the meantime, Alpha 7 do go down to Geekay. That southwest side is clean. Spicker moving on out. Spiker around the corner. And Goat will be able to hold him for 1. Moxie down, but will be resable.
Dangerous scenes though, E-Arena. They can smother blood in the water. They'll commit on the peak, spam into the smoke. They had a rough idea of the angle, and the bullets will find their target. Amongst all this, Alula have been scrapping up against Ulf.
Quick. Wanted to keep the pressure on. Ulf have been shredded down time and time again. It's just Eren remaining, the star player on the roster. I don't think you can call him young blood anymore. Tiamba did manage to get across the river in the meantime as well, Jackie, and they're on 8 elims. They've got 3 players alive. They're not looking too shabby right now, and they have an oversight onto this fight. If they can spot Alola on this roll-up, Eren may be able to take 1 or 2 of them down, and they may be able to shred the backlines, but it's getting away from them. The pace of Alola just a little bit too much for them.
I think that pace is the operative term as well, right? We've seen them be quite passive in situations where they have had advantages before back in the group stage, and that was a problem for them. So the fact here they're willing to actually take some of these encounters a bit more headstrong, it's good to see. Zone crunching in there again as well.
Going on top of the Wolves. They're on the north side with their 2 players remaining as Yangon Galacticos finally go down. The early powerhouses of the Elim feed starting to wane now. Yangon Galacticos go not quite going to stay the course. But Tiamba have a big opportunity here on that south side if they can push past Eren, get control of the hilltops. But it's Alula, their major competitor on that southeast side.
Tiamba starting their swimtation as well inside of the water.
Ooh.
They get vision on Eren's backpack here, so you're going to know. I remember from Olves, he's just going to peek up on the coast. That's a freebie. It's easy, John.
Yeah, GK looking for the shots from the high ground, but not quite going to land in time. And now the rest of Tiamba can look to suppress the position from the backlines, allow the push forwards. But Milu also under threat from range, but Alula chime in to keep Tiamba safe. Ooh, a nice little assist, and there's the off angle. QZ, masterful hold.
That's really nice. Big response, made it so uncomfortable for GK here as well, so they can safely get out of the water now and look to try and splash back on this. QZZ, amped up today.
A linchpin position. Both of his teammates down in the drink. He needed to be able to hit those shots, and he did. Alula with the little assist to keep the players safe. But Tiamba now on the south side. Once GK have to move, which they do, their position is going to get a lot stronger, Jackie. At the moment, it's quite timorous because of the position of GK, but that is going to be pushed out by the zone.
Milu responds again. That fight does continue between the 2 sides, taking casualties amongst each other, whilst Alula are fighting E-Arena from range. We cut back over to the POV of Tiamba. QZZ, the off angle towards the back, been doing great work. Cover flares coming in as well to try and bolster that defense for GK.
They're just trying to put themselves right on the edge of this zone and maybe try and wait out the bleed down. But there comes the Wolves with a cheeky thread on an angle across the zone there. Right through the valley, and Kevin now has a little bit of trouble. GK are low. They don't really have the sightlines. This is an opportunity for Tiamba to actually move forwards and maybe look for the res, but it's still such a risk. I don't think they're going to go for it here, Jackie.
Don't have all the information they need to make the call. Meanwhile, though, Alula going big on the peak. Wolves thought they were safe, thought they had an opportunity to third party steal some elims from across the game here, but no, Alula rock up onto them. 8 elims, John, playing very differently right now.
Yeah, that's what you need to be doing here with those 8 elims, with all 4 of their players alive, the only team to have the full squad in action. This is the last chance, as we're on board with Tiamba, to get this res. I don't think it's going to happen. He will bleed out, so Tiamba playing with 2. That's pretty nasty. They did have an opportunity to move forwards and maybe take more control here. GK helped out by the zone again as Nongshim Red Force on the north side get cut in across the road from everything. Alula going to have to move, as are E-Arena.
Shots from the side, it's Nongshim. That's easy. Tizzy, good work done with the AUG. Saw the reposition from Tony K, setting up the vehicle, so they'll take the scrap to him. That's a 3-man squad there. Like you say, not a bad position to be in as well with a shift on the zone. And they clean up, find the follow-up onto Joker. So E-Arena down and out, not the Rondo masterclass that we've seen from them happening here.
No, but 11 points is still very respectable, Jackie. They will be able to put up a good start to proceedings. Guaranteed they're on the front page. The question is, who's going to join them? Shots ring out, continuing to put pressure on GK. We're struggling to march forwards. Tiamba don't have vehicles to their name. They are really still just waiting on GK to have to move, and that is the first indicator that they are going for it. They should know that there's only 2 players over there, and Tiamba can start to move forwards now, and I need them to be able to do that, right? Something that we were criticizing them for was being a little bit timid, being a little bit shy, and so now stepping forwards at the right time, that's what they need to be doing, and it looks like that's what Milu's gone for. As the rest of the teams joust across the zone, Alula have to descend on one side of the hill or the other. The question is, which do you choose?
with a zone coming in. Alula on the rocks, being peppered down from Nonshin Red Force. It's keeping them very weak, making it uncomfortable for the hard commit on the wrap, but eventually they've got to push up. Going to be somewhat exposed here as well. If they're aligned in their crosshairs, they could punish. Thankfully, the map geo providing just enough cover for them to tuck in. And Tiambo, you touched on it before. When does that change? That mindset going to come alive? Because if they don't start to get a bit of a periphery scan on the go here, you could have Alula wrap in around the back, possibly put pressure onto them. Just remove them from the equation before they even try and make a move for themselves.
I mean, they really can't move until Ragnarok does either, which is the nasty thing for them. It is causing a lot of problems. They can re-distro ammo for Tiamba, and Alula not going to push too far forwards. They know that the angles from Nongshim are still going to be in action. And they can't afford to overpeak to get a little bit too bold because they have got their numbers advantage and they don't want to let it go to waste. But an opener onto Tiamba could open up their south rotate, and with the circle pushing towards them, that's going to help out nicely. But Nongshim look to strike to open the door for their crossing of the road and bring Alula back down to 3 with them.
Bated breath for a lot of our players right now, knowing how close they are to potentially kicking off the survival stage with a big point injection if they can take this chicken dinner. Add potentially a few more immolations to it as well. Milu and QZZ still scared about what could be coming out if there's angles watching their way. Nonshin have had a good understanding of the wrap that we saw from Alula as well. So the minute they pop out from behind that rock, there's not really much cover on the rundown.
Some really nice elim counts for a lot of our teams moving forwards. Tiamba getting that res could prove to be crucial. The knock sent towards Alula, allowing them a little bit more mobility. The lack of sightlines from Alula, not quite controlling. And they just lost another one. R3B on the back, really not going to be resable either. This is going to be a very difficult dash, and Nongshim will read into this. They're moving out already to try and control the ground around them and get across the road into some sense of security. But it is so few and far between. Everybody operating in inches right now, Jackie. There is no grander dimension on these really close quarter scenarios. Step one way too far, one step either side, and it's a completely different story. But that is a big pickup on the Nongshim to bring them down to 2 to stop their third player regrouping onto the south.
Every team starting to lose a lot of the battle of attrition here as we get towards the fine margins of this game, like you say. Oh, Kike as well spotted out. Yasser with a reposition. The eyes lighting up for Tiamba, but knowing now the pressure's going to be put on them from Alula on the hillside. Never gets any easier, John.
Using those nades to create potholes moving forward, steps up for the flush. Now Alula can commit to trying to hold this high ground and try and use its position, the geometry, to maybe get a pick, but they're just not quite finding it. They're starting to wane now. There's Nongshim gonna try and bear the brunt of it, but down go Alula, and a knock already over towards Nongshim gives Tiamba a big chance here.
Timid Tiamba no more. They start to play with confidence, knowing that they can take the fight to Nonshin Red Force. The squad that we were surprised was so far down the standings back in the group stage. Let's see if they can kick it off here in survival with a big chicken dinner and assert dominance in the lobby. It's not going to be so easy for Nonshin as the nade blows them away and Tiamba take the opening game of the survival stage.
That is how you change your story. Tiamba with a huge opener. They played from that south side. They read that they couldn't get across that river nice and early. They played on the south coast, a little bit of a bet hedger, but they did manage to get across the river. They transitioned at the right time. They moved at the right time, and that is the change I wanted to see. The question will be, can they keep it going for 11 more matches and keep that pace going? Nongshim Red Force as well, really well held on that north side. The angles that they were maintaining, they knew what they were doing, and it reads into what we were saying about them before, that strategic masterclass that we desperately want to see them moving forwards. They were, again, another team in the conversation for top 5 during their group stage. They were pushed aside just about. It was very, very close, and in a very, very difficult group for them to try and make it, but nice, solid performance coming through from Nongshim. A lot of the teams that were late into that game had a lot of elims as well, which means that nobody going home empty-handed.
Yeah, We can have a bit of a listen in as well and see what they were saying for themselves here.
要雕树，我能烽火。别急啊，别摊枪啊！别摊枪，别摊枪。我甩过来了。
Lovely arc on the nade. Keeping things nice and tight with it. Didn't even need to peek through. That earlier knock from Aulula onto one of the Nongshim Red Force players as well, immediately before going out. That really was an assist in those final moments. But Tiamba, they kept their heads down when they needed to. We knew they could do that, but they also stepped up when they needed to. So I'm thrilled that they're able to take this first one.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see, right? Because we were saying before, they looked good, at least in terms of how they were approaching some of these games, but I think it was falling off in the sense that they just weren't able to commit necessarily with more of a cutthroat nature, where sometimes you've got to evaluate the risk and really just go for it. Obviously there it looked a little bit scary as well with the rotate. We lost Eagle as he went down to the zone, but they'd still recover. They get it done. It's all Tiamba in game one, but let's see how it looks in the rest of today.
As well near Ferry Pier, around Quarry. Yangon Galacticos, very much the back of the queue.
See if Yangon can keep some good energy rolling for that roster over the course of today's playdate. A lot of eyes on them. Now, two reigning champions in the lobby, of course, being Yangon Galacticos, and then behind that, Alpha 7 from the year prior, back in 2024's EWC.
Circle. Oh, no way! It just sticks you down. You can't really move freely around it. So for Ulf, they may be able to take the ridgeline, but getting down future may be difficult. I don't think too many teams are going to be able to play around Quarry, and this is going to get nasty. The positions out on the west are difficult to hold, and for Arena, they need to regroup. For Wolves, they need to try and stay alive, and 7-2-1 are going to try and crash on in. Everybody on the south edge being funneled around that Quarry location. Oh, Jackie, this is going to get very, very dirty.
There's something in the air at this event. I don't know what happened this year, John, but the circles we've had have resulted in some ridiculous games the whole way through, from start to finish. It's never easy. Feels like we're playing with 50% land in every single game. Half of it's always taken up by the water. Hey-ho, we go again. Teams instantly crunching down, knowing it's only going to get harder to get into a safe location in the zone the longer they leave this one.
Yangon Galacticos just about making it past Quarry. Ulf actually went straight past Quarry, and they're now very central on this zone, Jackie. They're looking to play out to the west side of the road, towards that coastline, nestling themselves in and looking to maybe play a 2-2 split. Yangon Galacticos happy to post up around those Quarry warehouses for the time being, maybe move on a little bit further because you've got AGAL moving in behind them. Furia, in the meantime, trying to get out of Primorsk, playing in from that south edge. I like this this move coming through from Igor. Moving one of their players around the headland gives them a little bit more latitude when it comes to having to move later on, and that really is the plan for the scout out on the west.
Thing is, for some of our teams as well, this accelerates the way you have to play this one. I think a Go team, they usually like those very long, safe rotates where they want to be inside of the blue, taking their opportunity to build into a great late game finish. Here, you can't really play that style. Have to take a few shots onto Fury as they catch line of sight on the road. This is going to be both teams' POV. Elevated angle, Killer Joe getting swarmed on as well. The AGAL Killer Bees on the move as they head down towards the road, looking to cut round Goat and get themselves into a better position. Doesn't get any easier though. The Wolves just up ahead.
And Ulf as well, looking to try and stymie that approach from the south side. AGAL on the side of a road, looking to maybe control the shack, but Aaron's already in occupation. Ketch needs to line him up, and Aaron takes a lot of damage there. Far too much for my liking. Has to fold back, and that gives AGAL a chance. Ketch now in danger as AGAL continue their pursuit to move on forwards. Somehow they're making this march, and I'm surprised that they've been able to get this far, Jackie. Next circle, is it going to be similarly brutal? It goes coastal side, maybe less brutal, but even so, it's nasty.
Still punishing stuff. Cutting out that landmass. Teams standing on each other, shoulder to shoulder in the zone. In AGAL, you're right, man. Barely tucked in behind the ticket booth, found themselves a few moments of brief respite to catch their breath. Tiamba as well. They're here, they're catching line of sight of this. Few pod shots being fired towards their general direction. Only really 3 squads that are even outside of the zone right now. And Nongshim Red Force down to Primorsk with wrap up from Furia close by, and then Geeke coming in down from the north side late.
This RRQ position, really important. The hill that sits towards the coastline, you can see the high ground that they're able to control. Ulf trying to move into the foothills around it, but AGAL are peppering them. Apparently Aaron is in nade range there. That's a long arm on that one. Looks to try and find some more, but he's already crawling away, crawling back to the rest of the roster. For RRQ, this is great, but they need to start leveraging it for elims. I think that's Aaron down and out. I think it may well be, but Furia and Nongshim Red Force in the meantime, all on the south side, coming to loggerheads, and nobody's looking happy with this. Furia on 2 players and Nongshim left on just 1, Jackie.
Yeah, this is rough, man. No one's getting out of this with a smile on their face unless they can completely recover now. Thankfully, the last shot goes through pretty heavy-handedly to punish one more man from Nongshim, leaving it down to a solo. Fury are going to be attempting to get the recovery on the go. CXCY did bail out. Surprised he's still standing. Bullet after bullet being injected towards the vehicle. He just keeps driving.
Cheeky little seat swap there for XZY to stay alive, but where's he going? He might as well have pulled up on that shack, or maybe he's going to pull up on a player from AGAL. It's not going to work out, though. Okay, a little bit wild, but not really too many options left for him. If he'd have stopped maybe a touch earlier, he could have had the hop out, grab some of those shots, but wasn't quite there with it, not quite slick enough. And AGAL, with a little bit of a danger approaching them, able to hold their nerve.
Elimination delivery on that one. Drove in, double-checked the code, gave it to him. DRX as well, hillside peek over. Trey trying to get a read on things. Alula back into the fight as well. Geeke taking the head-on approach towards Yangon, with Alula amongst them, sandwiching them there. So they do go down. That's our 3rd and 4th position team off the back of our opening game of Rondo, already out of the running, so opportunities for some lapping to occur.
Geeke obviously the team that won Pachinki, but kind of lost as well in that first hot drop. We'll be keeping an eye on if that continues to happen for those 2 teams, and if Geeke continue to win it, if it does. But either way, they will slow themselves down, something awful. A lot of casualties in the middle of this zone, and rightly so. It keeps the coastline in here, and again, RRQ's position on that western side, on that hill, gets stronger and stronger, as well as the compound for E-Arena on that west side too. Those buildings, I'm imagining Fury is going to be crashing into them. Either that, or they try and sweep around behind RRQ's hill and take control of that area of the map.
Could be a game-changing play. Establish a nice area of control for yourselves, force them out. Starting to get a bit excited in the crowd now as well. Energy building up here in Paris going into game 2. Foobs man with the quick repairs. He's certified for this one. Let's go team with all 4 players still alive right now. Got a wraparound potentially for KRX as well. Bit of a split there between Trey and Binny as they've broken off from one another.
Alpha 7 on the northwest side, with 3 players alive on the beachhead. Binny, he's going to start to tick away from the blue, from the water. You need breath, you need health bar, and neither's going to go your way. Down he goes, leaving only 1 player now left standing for them. Over on the northeast side near the backstop for GOAT. Furia, instead of going towards the zone, looks like maybe they want to try and take care of GOAT team first, or at least scout it out. They're wrapped back around fairly quickly, though, as the last player from Kiwoom, DRX, goes down.
Yeah, Foobsman finds that one. We saw the other player, of course, denying it out to the blue, not wanting to give the points over to Furia, so that is where their story ends in game 2. Killer Joe, off-angle peek from the sideline. The attention of Furia was all on Moxie. Joe was able to take the first bit of damage with ease. Silence replies, though. Shuts down Fuchs, leaves him on his last legs. Good name play from Moxie. Shushes Silence. If this is on target, could be very lethal, trying to get it over the hillside onto the close grouping. A trio of Furia players with one man in the vehicle scouting. Chief on the push back over. Ayala really looking rough here, John.
Yeah, the off angle from Arena is chiming in as well, and another nade sent over the top. It's big boom after big boom coming through from GOAT team. And now it's just Ayala on the forefront. On the back line, it's Igor who needs to come up big here against GOAT team, but they can't push forwards because of that Arena off angle, which is slowing this fight down really annoyingly for GOAT team. The advantage, though, is that they can start to use this time to maybe find a foothold into the zone, because the blue zone is upon them, and you can't res in stage 4. You need to get this one done as fast as you can. Silence may not be able to get back up here.
They knew there was the rock up from the back line when Elementrix got the takedown on GOAT team, so they've read that, reassessed and wrapped off, like you say, and they've gone straight into the awaiting arms of Tianba. Terrifying Tianba today. They've changed their fate. A few more elims racked up. That puts them on 2 so far.
Now they're encroaching towards AGAL. Both from the same region, and there's the crash from Eagle on the shack. They know there's a player in here. They need to try and keep safe, but it's not going super well for everyone. Tianba able to stay alive on the inside, but losing one on the out, and Liu gets some retribution. AGAL now playing on us 2 in the center of the circle as it shrinks right on top of them. Holding this position would be great, but there's so many angles now staring you down.
Oh, nades are good as well. Primes that one, gets it right on target. Goodbye, AGAL. They go down to the nitro they've been given to breakfast. And this is where it gets far more scary as well. Alula, low on HP with a bit of a split on the setup. Yangon Galacticos pushing in as a roster. Coming in together, struggling on contact with one player buckling under the pressure, and Wolves, they smell the opportunity to steal some of these elims. Nade arced over, Elementrix dives out, Romeo will fall, can't withstand that.
Oh, but there is an answer from Smile to find a knock over onto a Wolves player, leaving Aola potentially to be able to... No, I don't think they can get this res with the blue zone coming on in now. Doesn't quite have the time to get the crawl back. Would be a miracle to get that back to 2. So Aola may be drawing short here. In the meantime, the Wolves have got GOAT team pushing in behind them. Wolves felt that they were third-partying it, but they've been fourth-partied necessary. Can't quite do what he needed to, as Force goes in with the shotgun trade. Elementrix, though, still on the swivel for Wolves. Doing work, but Killer Joe left to survive this one. Has another opportunity for the fight, but Elementrix is looking clean with it. Takes too much damage, though, and has to dip back.
Killer Joe thrives in these sort of encounters, John. It's where he does his best work. He's able to really nail that one with the UMP. Get the quick pick up, looking for the revive on Force as well, so they can fight on as a duo. TMG. He's got the angle, John.
Oh, he doesn't quite get the peak fully there, though. He's a little bit too timid, and that's going to allow the res to come through from GOAT team. TMG could still play spoiler to it. He sees them 2 on the broadside now. He's going to know exactly where they are, and he can step forwards for it. Force, I think, might know as well. Killer Joe into the buggy. He's rolling forward. They're going to have to play against this, but TMG gets back, and the Arena don't want to overcommit.
Jumps back in the vehicle, puts the pedal to the metal and pieces out for now, whilst Force continues to hit heavy. Quick, not fast enough for Alula's escape plan, as only one man remains. Claws cruising over into the awaiting arms of Ulf. They've seen him coming, but if he keeps going, it'll be RRQ that will have this one set up on a platter. Back exposed, easy tags, that's the takedown.
Should have gone that way a little bit earlier. RRQ retreating to the beach side, have given up control over a lot of this hill. It was under pressure, but I feel like you do need to start to think about stepping forwards now. The difficulty with that is, of course, Furia's position on the south edge. They do need to keep control of that, which is why they've invested so much in terms of moving there. But that opens opportunities for Alpha 7 on the north side to start to be a major player in this circle, because they've been quite quiet up until now. Moving down south, they get a lot more control and maybe sneak in behind RRQ, or rather in front of them now.
Furia, it's not been easy for them for the positions they've been forced into. Still standing as a trio after losing Silence quite some time ago from that engagement over the top. It was Fuchs that took him out. Nade onto the vehicles. RRQ not overcommitting for this, wrapping off with the zone shifting in as well, crunching further up towards the mainland.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I wanted RRQ to be looking to play. They kind of probably did want to play that already, but you can see that Furia would have had some pretty solid angles on this. Irina may as well been able to chime in, depending on exactly how you're playing it. But Irina going to have to move, Furia going to have to move. And the crunch in on the east side, I think, it's going to be pretty tricky. Irina looks like they were willing to go for those wraparounds, go quite wide with things. So potential for them to actually move into this west side engagement, but they may just look to push up towards Tiamba and towards Go, as RRQ look to regroup further north and fence off the area from Alpha 7. Nuth, the sub coming in for Alpha 7, will be the player to hold, and he's on the vehicle spot, looking to control it. Doesn't quite tag with the first shotgun, but there is the top of the hill coming on to play.
They focus all their fire on him. He's able to withstand the pressure and get back up from the rest of the boys as Alpha 7 start to thrive off the noise being made by the fans in the arena. RRQ detonating the vehicle to shut down the super sub for the side. What can the rest of the roster get up to here? Bullets being peppered towards them. Amongst all this, 721 GRS struck upon by Ulf as they go in heavy with the shotguns.
What?
Ravo just drives into the middle of it all. Looks to go crazy, John.
How on earth does he dodge all of those rounds on the outside? And Carrillo with the seat swap looks for more, but Alpha 7 fall at the final hurdle. Revo looked immaterial crossing that open beach, but it was not to be, and now Furia can roll on in, happy as Larry, to go for the fight. Irina wants to try and crunch it behind this too, and they are doing just that.
Nades on target, good damage. Furia, they've had to play defensive for so long. Now we're seeing that aggression come out. Cutthroat play so far. Wrap around the back, the nade look good, but a bare bounce over the top side, and they'll get it done with the rounds instead. RRQ fall.
Down they go. Furia looking to piece themselves back together. Irina maybe a little bit too slow to jump on the back lines for Furia as they establish themselves. Ulf as well, look at a challenge over on the northern side, obviously diminished in power with only 2 of their players alive, but still a force to be reckoned with. Kelsey and Scarface have got some solid positions to play around. Irina on the south border, I think they're the team to beat here, Jackie. It feels like on this south side, they have got control, they've got a lot of what they need, and Furia is committing towards the north side.
Energy building up. A lot of fans in the house today. Could see all the Yangon Galacticos signs, John. The Alpha 7 fans bringing the heat once again as well. But they've got one thing in common right now. Neither squad remains alive currently in Game 2. Out of the contest here. A lot of different sides that are looking to really squeeze a good injection to point out of this for Tiamba as well, thinking about the potential of a ludicrous start to the day if they can do the unthinkable.
I mean, they've already gotten 5 elims and gotten up to a 5th place. This is a good game regardless for Tiamba. They are going to be happy with this performance. Next zone coming on through. Shrink's pretty dead center. I don't think there's too much to worry about for the arena, for Tiamba, for Furia. But for Goat Team, I think this is going to be their big test, right? They are just playing on this one tree. They've got some vehicles in the back lines, sure, but they have to move. And where do you go? Where do you go? It might just have to be a crazy wide sweep up to the north, but Tiamba are going to light you up, the arena are going to light you up. You need a pick, you need an opening. I just don't see Goat Team moving forwards.
Yeah, it's not been the easiest approach for them. For Furia, they've been trying to build up nice points on this game, taking the heat to teams when they think there's a chance to get a drop on them. Well, Kelsey trapped by the rocks there after eating the nade. No real easy pathway for Scarface to get him back on his feet. This could be another chance for Furia to flush out one more squad, push themselves even further with 2 elims going their way if they do it cleanly.
Yeah, Go Team, you really can't be doing anything here. Killer Joe just looking for some angles, but there's nothing to do. Fair enough to fall down there. Killer Joe will go down last. Scarface now under pressure as Tiamba actually take the elim over on towards Kelsey, and Scarface still kicking as Ayala takes a knee. E-Arena in the meantime can start to march in from the south side. A nade will finish off Scarface, but Ayala now needs to be secured, and this is beautiful. Sweep across from E-Arena. Furia have committed to that north side, and there is now nothing stopping E-Arena taking the entirety of this ridgeline in a three-way engagement.
Yeah, this is great decision making. Instantly aggressing when they think they've got a moment to get the drop on them. Furia down to 3 players of Ayala, unfortunately falling in that head-to-head versus Scarface. That puts so much more pressure on this team. They've got to get him back up. They'll have a few seconds here to top his HP up. Thankfully, he's done so. But they've crunched so much space, so much map control away. Nowhere near as easy now, John.
They know Milu's position. With the nades they've been able to push forwards. Ayala creeping up to the ridgeline as well. And the Arena actually going to regress on their hold, not wanting to stay overextended or maybe move those vehicles in different ways, swap them out, something like that. But just like giving that ground there was an interesting decision, but they get it back very, very quickly. Furia don't try and push over the top on it. Still waiting for this one to get forced by the circle. You can see Chief will get moved. Igor as well has to leave his little ridge and step up probably towards that burnt out buggy. That's where he's pacing himself towards. Ayala cannot find an angle.
For love nor money right now. No chance to get a raw free peek onto them. Just looking to cast that first stone, open it up with an advantage. The first domino falling for either of these squads will be very detrimental. Obviously for E-Arena, that big benefit you have as well in the trade game. They've got 1 extra man in the squad. Takes a little bit more pressure off them, but they still need a clean fight. Pin from either side, it wouldn't really change much.
Next stage closes dead central on this, and no one really has the full inside track, but E-Arena have the most ability to move around. If Furia go down, Tiamba can start to move up the hill. That might give them a little opening door. Furia now moving much closer towards E-Arena, and the nades are going to start to cause problems for Mormon. The Molotov's there as well, but he has the smoke to cover his vision and hits the deck. Looks to get some healing. No knock found.
Shocked. I'm absolutely shocked he's still standing there. Stereo nades go out either side. It felt like 1 bullet away from him falling. Topped himself back up, like you say. He's quick with the meds. Fury are debating where they really need to engage on this. Is it easier to try and wrap around onto Tiamba's side? Do they just have to hold in the middle way for the crunch to come towards them? They're going to go in the direction of Tiamba. Ayala, thought maybe they were a little bit closer than they are. Had the DBS primed. Scouting play as well. They're losing a lot of space from this peak up from E-Arena, starting to force them further back. It's getting scary out there.
Final zone closing as well now, Jackie. It's straight into the middle. Can't hang about now. No elims for E-Arena. So they would love to try and sweep a couple of these up. Over the top of the hill, they're looking to put a pressure onto Furia, but they fight back. Eco goes 1 for 1 on the trade, which is not great news for them. But where are Tiamba? Can they make a pass at this? Try and move in behind Furia. I think they might be going for it. They've heard this fight break out. They've seen the knocks come through, and the backlines from E-Arena getting a little bit false-footed as Tiamba make their play.
Tiamba, triple threat of nades thrown over the top. Erupting explosions towards Furia's angle after knowing they're weak. They're still not overly committing. Being hit from all sides as well. They're going slightly too far deep. That one looks good. Great chip damage onto Furia. Chief with a reply. Mormon's drop. Joker hits the headshot back onto him. It's a 1 for 1 stalemate. Tiamba still waiting.
Finally, a second knock, and now Furia on 1. Tiamba have read this nicely. Igor the last to go, and they wrap around. They roll it down. QZ wants to shut it out in the Arena now. The last hurdle for Tiamba's back-to-back. 3 players versus 2. Joker off in the distance, but there's one in the smoke. Dealt with immediately. QZ relies on his teammates. He turns for a moment, but he knows they've got his back, and in a 1 versus 3, can he make it work? Mormon now bleeding out to the zone. E-Arena will fall in the face of Tiamba for a back-to-back chicken dinner. This is brilliant.
Talks of Tiamba looking timid in their group stage, but that's all changed now as they terrify the lobby and turn up massively with not only 1 chicken dinner locked in, but a second following that. Back-to-back. Incredible start to the survival stage here.
Really brilliant opener coming through for a team that as we were saying, there were a lot of criticisms levied at their play style. They only just about managed to get into the survival stage with a late in the day chicken dinner. But they did look much better during that chicken dinner, during those group stages. And this is exactly the sort of development you want to see. Able to go, I think it was 11 eliminations as well there, Jackie. It is a monumental start for them. Getting towards the top 6 just got a whole lot easier.
Yeah, dream start, man. That's what we're saying, right? We were looking at it even kind of early into that one, thinking, oh, they've done pretty well with the elims. It looks like they've got a good set of heads on their shoulders today. Way better for you when you not only get 1 chicken dinner, but 2 already locked in. Playing it smart, I was a little bit worried we're going to see some of those signs of them not willing to really engage even when they have a bit of an advantage. We saw that a few times in groups. It looks like they've recovered that.
Yeah, I mean, the instance right at the end there, where they saw 1 knock on either side, they said, you know what, now's as good as any. The zone's closing, we've got to go. They had the nades, a little bit off target with the nades. I think it's safe to say they didn't have a full read on the position of Furia, so overexpending a little bit of utility there. So still improvements to be made, but I think I can forgive them that. They were still able to crunch it behind, be the pneumatic press that crunched Furia and followed through straight on towards E-Arena, who, given the solid position that they had on that south side for so long, surprising that they weren't able to get many elims at all. A very minimal point scoring game for a team that plays second place.
Yeah, it is surprising. It is surprising. I think for E-Arena it's a bit scary as well, because obviously, you know, we historically had that one massive game in the group stage where we were thinking, damn, okay, they're looking absolutely sick. They're really playing confidently in the head-to-heads as well. Longer it's gone on, there's moments where you're thinking, when are they going to get that second wind again? Not necessarily from the tactical side, but more from just the willingness to actually show how good they are as individuals in terms of the gun skill. We know it's there, John. It's just got to rear its head once again. But today, so far, it's all about Tianba.
Yeah, I mean, for the players on side, they do need to start to step up, be a little bit more like Tianba. I think it's safe to say we're going to head down to the stage and we're going to catch up with some of the players.
Yes, we are. And who are we going to talk to other than Tianba and QZZ here? Back-to-back wins to start off the survival stage. What a result. And let's ask about that, right? Back-to-back wins. Obviously, in the group stage, you didn't have the easiest of time. So what was the focus for the team between the group stage coming into now this survival stage?
QZ 首先恭喜你们已经2连世纪了，非常优秀的一个发挥。当时你们小组赛的时候可能打得不算那么好，然后现在进了生存赛之后，明显就是状态调整过来了。能不能跟我们说你们当时调整的时候主要注重哪些方面呢？
其实我们没有做太多的调整。其实前2天其实大致上没什么问题，但是每个人的状态可能不是很好。然后昨天调整了一些东西，然后大家状态都变好了一些。然后我的调整就是我加了个手机壳，因为我用那个手机老断触，但加了手机壳之后断触会变少很多。
Outside that, we didn't really make a lot of adjustments. I think that we were, in terms of strategy, I think we were absolutely fine. It's just that in the group stages, I think everyone's form was just a little lackluster. And then coming to the survival stage, I think we are now performing a lot better. I think everyone's form is just peaking right now. And in terms of adjustments, for me personally, what I adjusted was I added a case to my phone. And I think that really helped to reduce some of the kind of like not registering some of my key inputs, my touches. So I think that really helped as well.
More accurate at all. That makes a lot of sense. And going to the Rondo game, you guys came in from the south side of the river and played alongside the river for almost the whole game. What were the biggest threats to you guys for that first win?
当时你们第一张图的时候，你们相当于是从那条河的南边，就是进圈的，然后而且你们相当于是我唯一之队站在那边，然后你们就一直沿着那条河的南边在那边打了一整场。当时一整场下来，你能不能跟我说一下最主要的一些威胁会是什么呢？
其实最主要的威胁是我们准备反清山上的一波，然后我们差点被右边的 KR 叉给溜了，然后但是我们当时点住了那一波，然后那波可能是最具威胁的一波。
Well, I'll say the most dangerous point was when we were trying to clear a hill, and then I think KRX actually had the slip on us, and it was a very tough battle. I think it was a really dangerous moment for us, but we managed to hold on and we managed to fight back, and we managed to win that battle. And I think that was the single most we almost got eliminated point.
All right, QZZ, amazing once again. Thank you very much. Thank you for the translations. That does it for us down here on the stage. Will Tiamba get another win on the day? Looking like it. It's crazy.
Tiamba doing their best impressions of Drake with that back-to-back, because this team is definitely showing up here at Survival Stage of PMWC at EWC 26. But don't forget, it is PMWC. There is a PMWC lucky spin currently going on within the game. Make sure you log in, do the spins, do all the fun stuff before he goes away, because we do have the Electron energy set, the Proton power set, and the stunning Alien Fusion grows out, which Max was telling me it ends up glowing on the dark. Was co-created with PvP creator Nana, and
previous groups, though, we're kind of looking at 85 points, roughly.
Sure.
Don't quote me on that in future, but I think for what we saw going into top 5 in what was a pretty tough group, we were looking at 95. There was that point sponge over the top side in Vitality, though, so maybe 85 to 90 points overall for 6th, and it goes up from there. Right now, Tiamba, they're pretty close to hitting that. They need like 40 more points on the day, which is a ridiculous next 3 games for any team. But they could lock themselves in fairly easily at the end of today, and that really does take a lot of the stress off. So any more points they can get right now, he's fantastic. They're starting off wonderfully over towards Yaz. It's an early dropout as well, so they get very looted very quickly. And then it's a case of just figuring your way out over towards that western edge. But there are a couple more teams we do need to talk about. RQ, for instance. Goodness me, good job to them. I think that although they haven't been massively loud in these games, some decent rotates, some good presence in these endgame circles. Nothing insane just yet, but I think for RQ this feels like a much more comfortable ride. You know, we got the suspension going at the moment for RQ. Let's just keep that happening. Let's stay on the smooth roads.
Yeah, speaking of, you know what? Where we're going, we don't need roads. As you can see, Yasser already getting in the glider off the rip here. He's going to be keeping an eye over Saverni. But you know what? You guys need to make sure you keep an eye in game and get that Uzumaki Naruto event going. Get that Ninetales Fury AUG. You definitely want to get your hands on that before it is gone. Saying, you can see Yasser, he said,
Nuth back to play onto Rondo, and who knows, maybe some of the fewer angles because he's such a new player here in the scene. So Nuth, I think, has a lot of potential, but it does kind of take away some of your team synergy when you add a player literally last second. second.
The thing is, not only that, especially when you put him at this kind of stage, we tend to have very big tournaments, and this is one of the biggest tournaments for PUBG Mobile esports throughout the year, and usually the pressure ends up getting to them. Quick, who's going to be getting the first win? Predictions time.
Oh, let's
Quickly.
give it to E-Arena. Why not?
E-Arena? Nap?
I think it's going to be Furia.
I got the glider, I got my Murado. We are ready to go here.
Yeah, no reason to stick around much longer. I mean, they made a quick approach over towards Severny, get yourself the loot truck if you can. It's going to be a little bit late for it, but they should be all right. For Alula, though, Severny, a lot of options towards the future, but we're likely moving down towards Fields, Gakko Way, Pachinki, so they do have to shove through quite a few teams that have layered themselves over towards the top side of Rozhok and beyond. That's Yasnaya. Beyond is Yasnaya Ruin.
That is correct.
South George, yeah. Everyone knows that.
Everybody knows
That's
that.
a classic.
Yeah, it is the classic. So, I mean, this is kind of it's good to see a more normal-ish circle here. About time.
Well, actually,
you know?
Yeah,
it's about time we actually see one here. So I think these teams are kind of breathing a sigh of relief. And now it's time for, to kind of get rid of any excuses, especially for these teams down in that bottom 8 to really start playing catch-up here, because Rondo has just been proving that map that it's just such a wild card for all these squads. We saw a 39-point game for E-Arena in just one single one. So, yeah, teams at the bottom could have a crazy pop-off match, but a team at the top can do it as well. So, I think if you have the opportunity, like a normal circle here, you got to take advantage of it.
You do. I think right now is an easy time to be going for something a little bit more casual, a little bit more chilled out. For Wolves, hey, you're not their biggest fan at the moment, which is totally understandable. It's understandable. It's totally understandable. There has been some, let's say, minor mistakes here and there from Wolves, but this is a good start for them. And I think it always has been difficult as time goes on with those kind of circles. If you're not experienced, you don't have that idea of how to play that at a lobby this level, you are going to get caught out. But this is a big chance. Now for Wolves, if they go out pretty early here, I think we can safely say to ourselves, it's not likely happening over the next couple of days, because this is a big chance for them.
Yeah, it really is. And you have to utilize these opportunities here. You're not given them very often. And if you can't even capitalize on something like this, it's just a terrible, terrible sign. I mean, yeah, we've seen some miracles happen in the past, but with how consistent this lobby is already kind of showing, because, that was the problem when I saw the list for the survival stage. I was looking at some of these team names, and I was like, this is a problem, right? We got our previous champions here, right? We've got our PMGC champions here. We have our PMMI champions here, right? It's like... it's like Champ City. You got Tianba, who almost won PMMI, and so many other great names as well. So yeah, you just can't afford to slip here at this stage. And that Wolves play in the group stage of accidentally hitting that rock.
Yeah, that upset you, dude.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness Baton hit the most ridiculous head pan shot out of a vehicle I have ever seen. To
it's like minus 1,000 aura and then plus 1,001.
Literally, it's evened out. But if they don't make it to finals here,
on that one.
it's going right back down, dude. Oh.
Yeah, I think for definitely, I will say honestly, Elementrix has been impressing me. There's been some good moments. I think if Wolves take anything away from this event, it's definitely team cohesion.
Sure.
I think individually all these players are fairly decent, but we don't see these crazy team plays coming out from them. We don't see them work together massively well. I still think they should be very, very proud to be here and getting through to survival stage, though, because this is a really tough tournament. I mean, you just highlighted the amount of champions we have in survival stage. Very cool, by the way. But yeah, I do think because the circles were so insane over towards groups, yeah, some teams were able to get in that maybe wouldn't have been able to before, but you could look back on the circles, and I think there was a lot of deserved wins, honestly.
Oh, sure.
I think it was just hard. It was a very, very competitive current lobby at the moment. This is a very fun survival stage. This doesn't feel like we're really just culling the necessary amount of teams. It's like, we're going to say goodbye to some real heavy hitters here. Some teams that, honestly, I would have liked to have seen through to the finals. We still got one more day left, though. Okay, I don't have to shed any tears just yet.
Yeah, one more day is definitely a good opportunity for these teams to get it done. And it's so crazy, right? And I think the big reason on top of it why we see so many monster squads in this lobby is because in the group stage, good games were okay. You know, we saw just something special that just made things so wild. I mean, Team Vitality on day one.
Yo,
dude, Vitality was just absolutely insane. I remember talking to like all these different coaches and players and be like, hey, what do you guys think about Vitality's day one performance? And the answer was always, what the? And then you just fill in the blank, you know?
Yeah, bro. 100%.
It was just shock and awe. Like, I don't even know what to even say to it. And I mean, you really can't say much.
No, you can't. Well, I think for Vitality's performance, it was one of those things where there isn't much to say. It's like, it is shock and awe. That's essentially what it is. I think there's not much to be said in terms of like what they did wrong or what they did right, because it's just a case of you guys played out your minds. When we see you winning, we're just happy for you. We're just happy for you. Yeah, it sucks that we're going to struggle to make our way in now, but goodness me, you guys definitely deserved it. It made Group B very, very difficult for some other teams. We had such a tight, knit top 5 when it came down to it. A lot of teams like sitting on that 90-point border up towards, I think, 3rd place, because I believe it was only really Godlike who were able to break out of that 3-digit boundary, get up there. But yeah, everyone else was struggling. It was right down to that last game, which did shift up the rankings massively and led to E-Arena being here now.
Unreal, dude. Honestly, like, that's like probably what frustrates me the most, dude. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, E-Arena, 39-point game 1. How do you break a record like that and just still not make it to the finals? I'm glad I wasn't on the desk there, because I would have gone absolutely crazy. But oh, here we go. We're getting to the action. It's Tiamba once again catching out Aula quick. Ooh, Yasser getting punished as well. Tiamba not messing around here on rotation. Also, the feed we see 721 GS getting to it with the Wolves. That's bringing out back and forth. Looks like one of the Wolves players does get thirsted, so they're going to be stuck with 3. Man, there's that crazy fight going on here, because now we see 721 getting in with RRQ. There's a battle going on all back and forth.
Well, it totally makes sense. When you get the circle come down towards the south side, there's a lot of fielded over towards the northwest and down towards the south. There's some very key compounds, some very key areas of the map you want to take control of around these trees. And we already know from watching groups, these players and these teams are not afraid to get stuck in 4 strong areas of the map. And it does cut out a lot of players quite quickly. 721 GS, they went down. They struggled off the back of it. Right now, Ulf is trying to rotate on through. Geekay is finding shots over towards Tiamba. They do lose 1 player because of that. But yeah, everyone wants a strong spot inside the circle. It's just amused me that Tiamba's taking a lot of damage. They're currently playing around Pachinki. I don't think they expected players to be up towards Church right now, taking shots off of this one. But fair enough to Geekay. It's a good, well-laid trap.
Yeah, they're going to hold this spot for as long as they possibly can. Oh, Marnet getting popped on the roof there. And he's going to go ahead and get back to safety. Fight timing is what it's all about here at this stage, especially in the survival stage. You kind of get into one of these engagements just a little too early on rotation. Boom, you're getting 3rd partied, 4th partied by all these teams that are just desperately hunting eliminations. So sometimes it is a little bit better to try to avoid those fights, unless you know for sure we could finish it out like
penetrate into the top 6 yesterday, which is fantastic for them, but it came at a cost, right? There was a lot less aggression coming through from them. They were relying on lucky games. And I think for them, I'm hoping that yesterday was a bit of a wake-up call. I hope they got back and they weren't happy with that top 6. That's what I'm hoping for right now for Alpha 7. I'm hoping they go back to their old antics, a little bit more aggression, a little bit more speed, velocity in these matches. That's what makes them them. And I truly believe if they continue playing like this and they do make it through to the finals, it is going to be a bit of a wash for them. This team has a lot more to give. but this year it's just not been it. Anyway, let's drop in with some of our other teams. Wolves right now, it's just not working. It really is not working for them at the moment at all. Again, that cohesion, talked about yesterday, not quite there. Feels like some of the rotates towards the end game feel a little sloppy. But honestly, I do think that they have some strong players on side. I mean, Elementrix really impressed me yesterday overall. I still think that this guy is one of the strongest players from that team and is a really strong contender here at PMWC, at EWC. But the individualistic nature of teams just does not work anymore. Everyone needs to step up. That's the thing of the past.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's something we've been saying for the last sort of probably few years now at this point, right? You do need to have all cylinders firing to make sure your engine's pushing as hard as it can. And it's potentially something for a couple of our other teams to be considering. We talk about star players quite a lot, and I feel like Ulf and Nongshim both have their star player on side, and Eren and Hyunbin respectively. They do need to have the rest of the team with them. We have seen that from both of those two rosters, though. I'm hoping for a lot more. I like the brains on Nongshim, and I feel like Ulf can step forwards, but it's the top 6 as the target as we break into the day with our first match. It is brutal as always. Rondo ready to roll.
Rondo is where you can gain the points. It's where you can get those eliminations. It's where you can set yourself up with a 39-point game and still fail to qualify for the finals. But right now, this could be the difference between you and top 6 and staying there. For some teams like Nongshim Red Force, they could grab themselves a massive game from the top 6. They're currently in 6th place, could rocket themselves up towards the top of the leaderboard. Tiamba, however, I think their momentum is legendary coming in from day one. I don't think they're going to be stopping anytime soon. They're feeling good about themselves. Milu was practically beaming the entirety of the day yesterday. I think that's going to be the case here. They're going to have a fun time with this one. Team's got to be scared.
I mean, if they can break up towards 90, maybe even towards 100, very reasonable for them to be able to do that today. They are going to be locking down one of the spots, and the question will be who the other 5 teams will be going with them. I mean, already as it stands, it kind of already is the question. And we'll see if they're going to get stuck in nice and quickly here, because it's going to be very hot at the moment. Doesn't really support as many teams. So you are going to see things start to pop off very soon. I almost kind of want to come off the map feed right now and just go straight to Yulin, because it's going to be absolutely hectic in that location going forward. We can always take a look at the circle later. I think right now we want to see what happens there. Who's going to profit the most in that